everybody thought that this fan yelled the N-word 2 times. And it's weird. It's one of those words where, and Rocky maybe remembers this. You remember how on Twitter there was the thing where you said the word, it was either Laurel or it was another word?
Yep.
And basically half the people heard Laurel, half the people heard something else. Now, I will say this. This story blew up. I think it was Craig Mish, who's the reporter from the Marlins. He was the first person I saw that came out on Twitter and said, this is ridiculous. Somebody yelled the N-word at the game. So I hear the audio, and you have to know that going into this, if you're already thinking and listening for the N-word, when you hear that dude yell it, you immediately in your brain think it's the N-word. Right?
Exactly.
Like I was 100%, there was no doubt in my mind. It was anything but the N-word because it did actually sound like that if you're thinking N-word. And so it becomes a big thing on social media. The Rockies even come out there and issue a statement and an apology. And then as you said, knowing how audible it was, I was thinking that has to be right behind the plate, right? Because you got the mics right there. The fact they didn't catch this guy, I'm like, that can't be possible. Exactly. Even if there's not that many fans in the stands, people would point to him. They'd say over there. So that made me kind of wonder.
He'd get his ass kicked.
Exactly. And then today, you basically hear that, and they show you. You know, they show you the wide shot where the man is yelling to his right because the mascot Dinger is 2 or 3 sections over. He yells it 2 times. And again, it's one of those things where if you go into the clip thinking N-word, you're going to hear N-word. If you go into the clip then realizing he's saying Dinger, you go, oh, crap. He was clearly saying Dinger, right? So it's one of those things. And also, in the world we live in now, where everything, so many things are racial. And I'm not this person that acts like racism doesn't exist, but we really jump to race all the time.
Amplified for sure.
All the time. And again, so many people on social media just blowing up with this. I hope all those folks delete those tweets. Again, I'm not, hey, Charlie, racism doesn't exist guy. So when there is racism, you call it out. When you make a mistake, you delete it, you apologize, you say, hey, this was a misunderstanding, and the guy clearly was yelling at the mascot Dinger.
And let's get something straight, too. There's some good old hillbilly boys. I mean, there are. But if you went to the most podunk town in Missouri and they had a big fair and somebody was yelling that dude'd still get his ass kicked. Like 100%. You would get your ass kicked. You just can't, you just wouldn't do it. I mean, maybe you could do a couple, but if you're yelling that blatantly, you would get beat up and the whitest white part of the whiteness, they would kick the hell out of you. It just doesn't work.
What town is that, by the way? The whitest part of the whiteness.
I'm just saying, well, I don't know. Probably a bunch of them. Well, Sweden, Norway.
Iceland,
you know. But anyway, you get my drift, man. Like it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And so the announcer said it on, what did he say it? The TV guy, broadcaster said it on TV, Charlie, first, because he picked it up and then he tweeted it. Okay,
so again, I first saw this. You know, a lot of people follow Craig Mish because he's big in the Marlins. And a couple years back, when the Marlins were trading all their outfielders, obviously Stanton and Ozuna and Yelich, a lot of St. Louisans started following Craig Mish, and he started to appear on a lot of radio shows and whatnot. And Craig Mish was the first person that I saw that has a pretty good following. He has 31,500 followers. So when he says something like that, I think a lot of people ran with it. I don't know if it was mentioned on the broadcast, but I do know that the Rockies put out an official statement, and it looks like now I'm going to Craig Mish's Twitter, and he's trying to kind of report on the follow-up to all of this. However, I'm looking, and this is not just him. I'm seeing his original tweet is still out there, and so again, if you kind of jump to a conclusion,
wait, it's still out there.
Well, let me see.
He didn't delete that.
18 hours ago, it says, Craig Mish, there was some racist person screaming the N-word at the top of his lungs at Brinson while he was at the plate. Came through on TV clearly. Terrible. Rockies need to find this bastard and do bad things to him.
Oh, my. And he still didn't delete that? That's unacceptable, man. That is unacceptable. Hey, for one, that guy's spending money in the crappiest ass game with no, and he's just getting that dude. You have to own up to that, right? Would you not delete that or be like, oh, let me rephrase? It was misunderstanding. He was yelling at the damn mascot. My bad. Don't hurt the guy. Poor guy. Like, oh Lord, delete that. Wait, what?
Now I will say this: sometimes a reporter will keep it out there just so folks know the timeline of what happened. He has since basically retweeted another reporter, and I can read from this gentleman's Twitter. It's Steve Stager. He is a news anchor in Denver. He says, okay, so this is 2 hours ago, 25 minutes ago, 26 minutes ago, a couple tweets. He says, new. The Rockies tell me last night's incident was a fan shouting to get the attention of the Rockies mascot Dinger, not a racial slur. The Rockies have spoken to the fan who confirms this is the case. They've also reviewed video from the local broadcast. I spoke to the fan who isn't sure whether he wants his identity released out of fear of the Twitter mob. I'll respect that. He said he was at the game with his wife and grandkids. He wanted a picture of all of them with Dinger, the mascot. He's pretty devastated that people heard him the wrong way. He insists, and the video seems to back it up, that he was trying to get the mascot's attention. He said he shouted a few times, then the game ended, and Dinger was on the field. And just real quick so people know, also he says one more. He didn't hear about any of this until his daughter called him today. The Rockies had called her as the seats are hers. He then saw how much the story has blown up. He's nervous about what happens next. Now, real quick, sometimes people dig in on stuff like this. To me, this is absolutely clear. It's not 50-50. It's not a matter of opinion of what you heard. This person was clearly yelling Dinger. 100%. I just hope everybody looks at the video. I hope that people don't dig in because they already threw the tweets out and they can't admit they were wrong. Because again, if you look at the story, he clearly was yelling Dinger at the mascot.
Well, and a lot of the people, that just just jump on everything possible, and nothing happens to them whenever they're wrong, and they don't admit that they're wrong, but they miss out on an opportunity to do a big event and make sure everybody. I get that side of it, but this guy, man, if I'm the Colorado Rockies, I'd take care of him. I'd take care of him. I'd hook their family up. See, his daughter's a season ticket holder, and they don't even. I hope they apologize to the guy. I don't know. I'd give him season tickets. I'd take care of him. That is ridiculous. And I'm sorry to be ignorant on this, Charlie, but the announcer that tweeted that, is he for the Rockies or?
No, he's a reporter. Florida? If you're talking about Craig Mish, is that what you're talking about?
So is that okay? Craig, yeah,
he's a reporter in Miami.
Okay, so he had not. Okay, so he was reaching.
He's watching the game. He's watching the Marlins game on TV.
I mean, you gotta think that.
But Cam, I will
really think somebody's going to say that? No, but even if you're thinking, I don't know, man. That is somebody go get this guy. Like, well, right. Like, wait a minute. Let's look into it a little bit. That's so outlandish and no one's doing anything. And you're going to still do that? I don't know. Even though I did hear it, but I wanted to hear it. And at the time, even if you're like, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Jump the gun, dude. Jeez Louise. And Colorado, apologize to this guy. What did he do? He's spending money there, and he's trying to get his kids to be into baseball, which you probably desperately need.
Well, luckily, nobody knows the guy's name, and he wasn't exposed. And I understand why he doesn't want his name out there. Even though, from watching the video, it is crystal clear the man is looking at the mascot and yelling Dinger. Even though that is crystal clear, there are some people that will not believe that. There will be some people that will not believe that. So I'm with them, and hey, just stay out of this. Don't release my name. And again, this is.
Well, you better hook me up with something.
This is also very ironic in the sense that remember what happened with the All-Star game? The All-Star game, and again, so just so everybody knows, from watching the video, he clearly is yelling the word Dinger 2 times, the name of the mascot for the Rockies. It's just ironic.
It's not going to be their name anymore.
That's a good point. They may change it.
Somebody chimed in on that, but I want to steal it. It was Chris and Belleville, $100. They changed the mascot's name.
It's just ironic that it happened at the ballpark where they moved the All-Star game. Remember, they moved the All-Star game from Atlanta to Colorado for the voting reasons. Whether you agree or disagree, that's why they moved the All-Star game. And then it happens, this crazy incident that ends up being really much ado about nothing, happens at at Colorado.
There's enough you can get to, man. There's enough little stuff that people do, stupid people. Like that stupid ass on the flight the other day where he's grabbing chicks and he's saying, I don't know if he was he probably saying racial stuff. I mean, you're going that far, you're an automatic dumbass one way or the other. Like, those are the guys you just own up and you tie up and you do whatever. But you better be right on something like this. You better be right on something like this, man, because it could ruin somebody. And then what happens to you? You just sit back and go, you did nothing. So this drives me nuts, and it is a problem. It certainly is a problem. There's enough that you could find, but there's a lot of stuff that people get rocked for. And they're like, what I do? I'm spending money with my family in the 9th inning of a game that we're getting murdered or whatever. What? There's 2,500 people here, and it's not, 100 degrees out. You're lucky I'm here.
Can we end this story on a positive, on a funny note? As I'm looking up Dinger, I've had these thoughts. Just so everybody knows.
Dude, I'm sorry.
I've had these thoughts watching cartoons with my daughter. It's very interesting to me how some animals and cartoons are portrayed where they'll wear a shirt but not pants. So Dinger is, what, is he a Barney, Rocky? Is he a dinosaur? Is he like a Stegosaurus or something?
He's a dinosaur.
Okay. He kind of looks like Barney.
Yeah, he's Alvin.
A lot of dinosaurs were found there.
He's Alvin and the Chipmunksing it.
Okay.
Honey the Snaps?
Right.
The Snaps the Frog.
Yeah, I like that look. I had that look going for like 2 years.
Okay, I understand that
was
on your own
illegal
time.
in New Jersey just like it is now. I'm just telling you that.
Trust me, I know.
But Dinger has a Rockies cap, he has a 00 jersey, and he has no pants. And all I'm saying is sometimes I'll watch these shows with my daughter. For example, there's
Donald
this show. Well, yeah, a lot of the
looks like a mannequin.
The Mickey Mouse characters.
Donald Duck's notorious. Why does Donald Duck put on a towel if he doesn't ever wear pants?
Well, how about this?
A lot of good questions.
We'll get even deeper.
Just saying.
Aren't both Goofy and Pluto, aren't they both dogs?
Goofy is actually a cow.
Is that true?
That has actually been, people have gone, because people have always wondered, why is Pluto a dog and Goofy a dog? Isn't this a little weird? Goofy is a cow.
100%.
Goofy is a cow.
That's interesting.
Oh, well, that could be, yeah.
I'm going to look this up. There's this show called Give a Mouse a Cookie, and there's this moose, and this moose has this open red cardigan sweater with no pants. And it almost looks like he's ready to flash somebody, right? And it's a show for kids. And I pointed out to my wife, she's like, yeah, that's weird. Because he has an open red sweater.
Do your children say, where are the genitals? Are they there yet?
No.
Is that question going to be asked?
No.
Well, I do remember being like,
now.
why aren't they, what's that all about? And mannequins, too. I always remember mannequins in like the late 80s and stuff. They're everywhere. And some didn't have pants on, whereas a dude or a girl, and they had the same thing, like a doll or something.
Hold on.
So it is cute.
Rocky, I have people on the text line. I really respect Cucky. And, of course, he won the Corner Butcher gift card.
Oh, Lord.
He made some videos. I got to bring him up off Google Drive, but he said Goofy is 100% a dog. Rocky?
Yeah, Goofy's a
His
dog.
His original design and origination as a character was as a cow. Hence why the Pluto thing wasn't weird. He may be morphed into a dog. He was a cow when he was originally written.
Okay. I'm looking at Goofy now, though. He certainly has...
Has he got something going down?
Oh, he has pants on. That's the whole point. The point is, if Goofy and Pluto are both dogs, how come Goofy is basically looked at more like a human with clothes, and Pluto's a dog that's on all fours?
Charlie, I just don't know. I don't know. It's a world mystery. It is one of the mysteries that we're probably never going to know. And now that we brought that up, people are going to complain about it, and there's going to be no more Goofy or Donald Duck because who knows? And somebody chimed in real quick on the text line, 855-282-8255. Remember the Channel 2 got rid of Kevin Steincross for accidentally saying, Martin, I'm not going to say it, they bowed the knee over foolishness. Man, Tim Van Gelder chimed in. Dude, you hear that, and you're like, dude. How many times a day do you say, it happens to me all the time, and sometimes it just sounds weird. Like you think he's thinking that word? I mean, I don't. I don't know. That sucks.
I will just say this. As somebody who is on TV, and I'm not the greatest person on TV, so we all make mistakes, what often happens is you basically put two words together because you're reading from a teleprompter, and this is not even to blame anyone, but sometimes a teleprompter isn't even flowing. Sometimes you're running it yourself, by the way. Sometimes you're running it with a remote. Yep. Sometimes you're running it with a pedal. and it kind of hiccups there. And what happens is either your brain goes too fast or the teleprompter, you kind of are looking, but your eyes go to the next word or the next sentence. And that's where you will combine a couple words to make sometimes it's not even a word. Sometimes it's a sound, right? And it's not done on purpose. I've done this a million times and said all kinds of crazy either sounds or words I didn't mean to say. Like, okay, I said one once, and Shirley Washington, if she's listening, she'll laugh because she remembers it. I said...
Sure she is.
I was coming out of a break, and my first word to say was college hoops. And then the next word was a P word. I can't remember what it was. But again, like everything was going wrong where my ear I couldn't hear. And you know, like
worst.
the camera was messed up, but nobody saw that. And so like in my brain, I was starting to like have a little bit of like craziness. And I said college poops, right? I said that on air. Now, did I say that because I was thinking about? No, it's because the
you want to
word,
see people go to the bathroom. It's very bizarre.
I don't, I promise you. But again, that wasn't because I was thinking of that. It wasn't on purpose. It was because in my head was hoops, and the next word I saw started with a P, and I combined
it. When Frankie had me do that, remember, I'm like, yeah, I'll take your job for a night, Frankie. Remember, I went down Channel 5 and I did that, and just everything went, it was funny, you know, but like, even I'm trying to like, and I'm throwing the paper down, and I'm reading the thing, and I'm throwing the paper down, and I'm like, what? And it goes this, and I mean, I must have butchered so many different things, and I'm like, and he did that, and I'm like, wow, he got just bashed for it, and you're like, whoa, like, man, oh man. Then I go over and sit next to God, I forgot who it was. She's really sweet and pretty. Works there. My memory's really good, so no offense that I forget names. I forget Charlie's name all the damn time, and Rockio's. I don't even know Rock's first name, to be honest with you. And I went and sat down next to him.
His first name is Dinger.
Is Dinger.
Martin.
And the chair was all the way down, like, you know how you press it, goes, it was all the way down, and I sit down like, bank, and I get back up like, oh, God. And that was one take, one night, or 3 nights in a row. So anyway, the point is, I'm rambling again, I'm sorry, but this is so goofy, this whole thing, and the Steincross thing, I'm like, man, that could have happened to me a billion times over. So it's like, whew, it's nice to, you know, I don't know, working for a big company, they get peer pressured is what it is.
I'm actually surprised that doesn't happen more. And I say that because of this reason. Think about it like this. Martin Luther King, who's this historic figure, we have a holiday named after him, right? So we mention his name all the time. We mention his name all the time for the holiday. We mention his name because I bet you every city in America has at least one Martin Luther King Drive or one Martin Luther King Street, right? And so you say that a lot because throughout the news, you're talking about streets, you're talking about the holiday, this and that.
A lot of them are hardcore, too.
Well, here's the thing, though. From now on, I guarantee you, because that became a big story, I guarantee you that every news anchor that ever is about to say Martin Luther King's name, now in the back of their head is not to make a mistake on that. So it almost could become a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're so trying not to say a word that you say it. And here's another example. This is not racial in any way. Every single time at Fox 2, every time I write the word Mike Schilt into the teleprompter,
I know exactly where you're going with this.
As I'm about to read it, what is happening in my very small brain? My very small brain is saying, don't say the S word. That's what I'm thinking as I'm saying Schilt every time.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's weird, man. And sometimes people ask me about being on a podcast, and I'm just so loosey-goosey and da-da-da-da-da, and then you come on here, and I throw, you know, but I never really say the F-bomb. Sometimes you just close that. But I don't think about it. But when you're doing TV, it's so much more pressure on you. God, I'm looking out in my backyard like, I got a squirrel looking at me right now. What's he going to do? I don't have a BB gun, but I could shoo him away with my doggies. I'll tell you that right now. But when you're on TV and that damn thing and the light comes on, you're like, oh, boy. And then you're sweating, and now you're just overthinking. Now you have to, like, oh, my God, dude. You could mess up in so many ways. Remember last time I was on with Frankie and JR? We're breaking down, I think, one of the last games. And I'm like, look around in the corner. Look at him banging all those dudes in the corner. I'm like, oh, Jesus. And then I think about that, and I'm still finishing up my thought. But I know my phone's going to blow up in my pocket because I said Ryan O'Reilly's banging dudes in the corner. What I meant to say was he's banging around in the corner and getting pucks loose. And, oh, God, whatever. But anywho, it is what it is. But it's scary, though, nonetheless.
You know what? In the end, the gentleman said, Dinger, And now we have another debate going on of whether Goofy is a cow or a dog. So
he's a cow dog, man.
So there you
Cows
go.
are, my last dog looked like a cow, and cows are awesome. They just chill and they just will lay down, and you're like, what's up? I like cows. Very good to eat, too, by the way. Dogs, not so much. Craig in Arizona chimes in and goes, south of Milk Drive, you could buy weed. Any city did it in South Beach. I don't know what that meant. You guys are burying the lead. Dinger has been convicted of several hate crimes. Are we not going to talk about that? Oh, boy, what'd he do? I bet you Gritty has. Actually, Gritty has been accused of something. Remember Gritty got accused of, punching somebody or something? Punching a kid?
Was that true, though, or was that a joke?
I don't know, but that's a dumb joke to throw out there.
Yeah, Gritty is odd because it's
He's
weird.
Odd.
It's weird when your most prominent, really, the most prominent part of the Philadelphia Flyers organization is Gritty. It really is.
Charlie,
can you say that about any other real, not even hockey, any other
Let's
team?
think about that.
Is there any other team? Like you could even say the Philly Fanatic, but guess what?
No.
The Phillies have Bryce Harper. Right now, if you told me who's the face of the Philadelphia Flyers, I would say Gritty.
Let's play a game, and maybe we'll come back from it. There's another guy I'm thinking of who's the most popular person in this organization by a country mile, and he barely played there, and he really has a little bit to do with it, but he's not a country mile. But is there anybody else that's a part of an organization, mascot, a guy that might not be a owner or somebody that just is the most popular, talked about person in that specific organization that's not a good player? Because your good players want to be talked about, not anybody else. Your number one guys that you're paying all that money to who are playing every night consistently need to be the most talked about people, whether it's positive or negative, in my opinion. But there are some organizations where that's certainly not the case, and Gritty's one of them.